Most people prefer to live within some kind of framework. Without any structure or guidelines, it's hard to know which end is up. And that's true for families, but it's also true for sports teams or companies or even international corporations. That's what a society is, a group of people living under a shared collection of guidelines. Personally, I need lots of structure to function. Wait, this sounds familiar. I've had this problem before, haven't I? Hello friends, welcome to Mr. Snayl's Wild Ride. I am Mr. Snayl and the Wild Ride is, well, you get it. I have an important announcement to make toward the end of this video, so be sure to stick around for that, okay? Okay, you know I don't like change. Changes to my routine really upset me, and my stomach. And until I get acclimated, I'm a whiny pain in the ass, and completely useless. I also have a lot of trouble with self-motivation. Big deal, right? Me and every other person on the autism spectrum. But if people have developed coping techniques, they can usually find the way around these problems. And I'm fortunate because I've developed one as well. I've developed one main technique. And it works 90% of the time, but the problem is she isn't always around. And sometimes when she is around, she isn't always available. And pretty soon she's going to be around a lot less. And of course, I'm talking about, as I often do, my wife. Aww. In just a couple of weeks, she's going to be launching her Kickstarter campaign that's going to be that last big push to hopefully catapult her debut memoir out into the world. And afterwards, she'll be promoting the book in a number of ways. Now, this is necessary and great, but selfishly, it's not going to leave a whole lot of her left behind for me. Most days I would start out by checking in with my wife and saying something like, "So what are you doing today?" Now, I've discussed this behavior before in a previous video. Now, even though I have a historical success rate of exactly 0 in terms of sustained, self-imposed structures and schedules, I need to find something, and quickly. So lately I've been experimenting a bit, trying a couple of new things, and I've had some pretty interesting results so far. The first thing I've done is intentionally stopped asking her that question every morning, and so far so good. No disasters have struck. But more importantly though, I've started using to-do and to-done lists. I've used to-do lists before, my whole life, but it was always to disastrous outcome. I would start out with a list of things I wanted to do that day or that weekend or that week, but the list would just get longer and longer as time went by instead of shorter. It was nightmarish and ultimately depressing, and I eventually stopped using it. It turns out this is fairly common. The typical person has 150 tasks going on at a time. I think we can all agree that's pretty ridiculous. Also, most people's to-do lists have items on them that are too vague. Things like organize the computer room, where if you break it down, that winds up being several dozen individual tasks. Those two factors alone are a recipe for disaster, and believe me, I've done them countless times in the past. Recently, however, my to-do lists have just been about that individual day. But truth be told, the to-do lists are a far less significant aspect than documenting the to-done list. For anyone who's not too familiar, a to-done list is just like it sounds. It's a list of things you've accomplished that day. Who among us hasn't set out to get something done, even if it's just one particular task, and at the end of the day you found yourself having somehow not even done the one thing? And you wonder, what did I do all day? The to-done list is a very useful reality check for this. I've been amazed at what it's revealed for me. Oh, so that's what I did today. I may not have accomplished what I set out to do, but I wasn't sitting around watching TV either. I trimmed the cat's nails, I did the laundry, I investigated the noisy phone line, I edited my video, and so on. Of course, me being me, I've developed a problem with that too. I've begun carrying around some kind of worry with regard to recording the line items on the to-done list. Either I'm worried that I'm forgetting to put things on the list and not getting credit, or whatever that means, or I'm spending too much time documenting everything. So after a couple of weeks of this experiment of doing the to-do and the to-done lists, I had a status meeting with my wife, and I expressed that I was having this anxiety about the documenting and whatnot, and she proposed eliminating the to-done list. And I had an immediate, automatic, aversive reaction. Didn't even think about it. I just had this in my chest. It was awful. But that let me know that there was value in it for me. I was attached to the to-done list. So I thought about it for a second, and I realized that even though the to-done lists themselves weren't directly helping me organize my day or get specific things done, over time they've helped me to experience and notice that acknowledging those accomplishments, the ones that occur in between the so-called important stuff, there's value in that too. After so many failed attempts at this sort of thing in my life, I feel like this is a step in a positive direction. I am looking forward to figuring out the next puzzle piece, which is figuring out a way to use this information to make more effective choices. Somehow. Speaking of making choices, thanks for sticking around to hear my important announcement. So starting in September, I'm going to be making a change to the channel's schedule. Instead of posting new episodes every Thursday, new ones are going to go up every other Thursday, specifically the first and third Thursday of every month. So it's more important now than ever before for you to subscribe. Now, if you're already subscribed and you don't know how that's going to help you keep track of the schedule, or if you don't even know how to subscribe, just click right here. I actually put together a goofy little tutorial video. I posted it over on my second channel to help you figure all that stuff out, or for you to laugh at. Whatever. So that said, subscribe if you haven't already. I appreciate it if you already have. Please click like if you like this video, and don't forget to share it with your friends as well, because I appreciate all that too. Thanks, guys. We'll see you next time. Who among us hasn't set out to do something? Speaking of making choices, thanks for sticking around for my roundie. So even though I have a historical success rate of exactly 0 in terms of sustained, self-imposed structures and functions, I thought about it and realized that even though the to-done lists weren't directly helping me organize my day or get specific things done, over time, starting in September, I'm going to change this. I'm going to be changing this. They can find ways around these.